Hello everyone, it's me back again with another video, and today we're going to be reacting to Game Theory, Joyville Holds a Dark Secret. Now you might have picked up a little bit of me sighing, saying, why are you sighing? Well, because I'm familiar with Joyville. And I know exactly what we're going to get into, and I'm pretty sure that it's I'm just saying that Game Theory is not going to miss. I won't be surprised if Game Theory did not touch upon this. But I guess we're just going to have to see. So you know what? Sit back, relax, enjoy. Let's just get to the video, shall we?
What happens when childhood trauma is left unchecked? What happens when that child grows up to create giant cuddly mascots? And what happens when that person then puts a little more into their creation? You get... No.
Oh, come on.
No. No.
Ha.
Yes, Joyville. But while all of that might sound...
Yeah, we just been getting a lot of indie games where it's all about, something from our childhood becoming evil. We got animatronics that we usually see from Chuck E. Cheese turning bad. We got toys that we love and cuddle so much that now they're pretty much... It's basically, God forbid, if you ever have a plush toy near you. And then whatever the heck Garden of Banbans is about.
Cliche. The truth hiding within these colorful walls is not what you'd think.
Okay, here we go. Game Theory.
Hello Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that's always here to bring you joy. And speaking of joy, it's probably about time I talked about the new indie horror game to hit the scene right at the end of last year. Joyville 2. Now you might be thinking to yourself, wait, Joyville 2? What happened to Joyville 1? And that's fair because there is a Joyville 1 that came out back in 2023. But the reason we never talked about it was, well, because the plot the game gives us...
Sorry about that, guys. Apparently one of my boys did not think that, I might be recording around this time, but I'm sorry. But let's continue. I'm sorry. Phone's off now.
Familiar. It takes place in an abandoned childhood paradise called Joyville, beloved by children and the brainchild of one visionary man. Unfortunately, the place had to close down after all the staff and children suffered.
Very similar.
Years later, our nameless protagonist returns to the abandoned facility to find out what happened, solve some puzzles, eventually get chased by a monster, and... that's about it. Yeah, it's not hard to see why people thought this was a carbon copy of Poppy. And so it didn't really feel like there was anything more to say about it. But here's the thing. I also remember when people said the same thing about Poppy Playtime's first chapter, labeling it as a generic FNAF ripoff.
What?
Yes, FNAF, we hear you. You're very special. You did it first. But fast forward to today...
that's kind of surprising, to be honest. That's really surprising. I'm just going to say like this. I never really heard anyone saying it was a FNAF clone ripoff. I mean, there wasn't any animatronics, but I guess... let's be honest. Anything new at this point, it's just going to take the same formula FNAF had. Oh, kids got missing. Oh, kids are now stuffed into these monsters. Oh, we had a killer who's probably a co-worker or used to work here. That was behind all the madness. Chase and Sue. But I didn't think Poppy Playtime was bad, and besides, I don't think it was like a FNAF ripoff, but hey, look at it now. We're now counting down in our calendars when exactly Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 is coming out. So I have to say, Poppy's doing a good job for herself.
Poppy has set itself apart as its own indie horror giant, so I wanted to give Joyville 2 the same chance and see if it would be able to throw off the shackles of its Poppy clone origins. And boy, did it deliver. This is no longer a walking simulator, friends. We've got time travel mechanics, a variety of different minigames, and even a pink cat monster that flips us off.
Hey!
Way to set yourself apart. Huggy would never degrade himself to such vulgarity.
Has no
While
fingers.
Cool game elements are fine and dandy, you know me. me. I'm here for one thing and one thing only, the law. And Joyville
God
2
dang.
has certainly grown up in that department as well. Hidden around every corner of this abandoned kindergarten are little details that everyone missed at first glance. And when all put together, we uncover a tragic story of how one man's inability to face his own personal demons turned his once beloved dream into a nightmare for everyone. Hold on to your magic teddy bears real tight, loyal theorists,
All
as
right.
we find out how all the joy was sucked out of the halls of Joyville. Joyville 2 picks up right where the first one ends, right after the final chase scene with totally not yellow huggy Wooly Bully. Except
I mean,
now
come
we
on,
actually
guys.
got some backstory as to why our character.
Look, no disrespect, okay? No disrespect to Joyville. I haven't really followed a lot of it, so this is going to be extremely new to me. But really, Wooly Bully, you would have just got. You can be fine just leaving it as Wooly. That seems. Oh wait, no. I guess people would. Confuse Wooly with Wooly from Amanda the Adventurer. Never mind.
Came back to this godforsaken place. As we approach the front door, we are treated to some flashbacks of us playing in Joyville as a kid, along with our sister, only for her to give us one simple request.
Brother, save me.
We
Nani?
haven't returned to this place for the sake of nostalgia. We're here on a mission. Our sister was one of the children that went missing the day everything went wrong. But can we still save her? According to the game's Steam page, the events we actually play through take place decades after the incident. Well, it might be more possible than you'd initially think.
How can it be more initial? Oh, let me guess. Oh, our sister got kidnapped and now she's one of the monsters. Ain't that right? Because this is the same thing that happened with Poppy Playtime. Like, they're just luring people in by saying your coworkers are still alive. Those coworkers are dead. Dead as hay. At best, they are monsters. At worst, they have literally gone insane. So how is our sister alive?
Because instead of being equipped with phaser blasters or grab packs, we're given the most logical thing you'd find in a kindergarten. A toy bunny. That can break the rules of time and space itself. Man, if only all my toys...
Excuse me? No, I know this. I saw this happen. A toy bunny that can manipulate time. You know, I would get mad, but we have the time-traveling ball pit from FNAF's side. So, why not? Next, you're going to tell me when are we... How did you even make a toy that can time travel?
buddies would do that instead of, well, you know.
Oh, God!
With this toy, we can turn Joyville from a decrepit horror attraction into what it once was, in all its colorful
Alright, that was cool.
glory. Although, we aren't the only ones who are stumbling around this place. Throughout Joyville 2, we are introduced to 3 unique mascots that help us along our journey. We have the Star, a dancer with an unflappable positive attitude.
Follow me and don't be afraid to experiment. Dance is joy, it's freedom.
Okay.
There's Lumina, an excitable cat who's just caked up for some reason.
You can rock.
Oh, nah. Okay, so that's... Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, I'm not sure if that was intentional, or was the creator just begging for someone to send her to the DeviantArt realms? Because, god dang! Nah, you really thought I was gonna say the other thing. Ha! You ain't getting me today.
The slides, dive into a pool of soft balls.
And then there's my personal favorite, Tidy, a sea monkey who loves exploring the ocean depths in search of treasure.
I found all sorts of cool stuff underwater, but some of my favorite things have gone missing.
Well, you certainly haven't lost your dapper sense of style, Tidy. I tip
My
my
man
hat
is
to you,
fresh.
sir. Or at least I would. But as soon as I use the time-traveling ability to take us back to the...
Oh, come on!
As soon as I use the time-traveling ability to take us back to the present day, let's just say the years have not...
Oh!
One by one, the mascots go from kind and friendly to corrupted versions that are hell-bent on killing us. Yes, even dapper Mr. Tidy. And we have to defeat all of them in order to reach a door of light where we can hear our sister laughing. We're blinded by the light, and the game ends. Always with the cliffhangers. That is
I mean, it is a good way to
everything
make
that
us buy
Joyville
chapter
tells
3.
us about its story. And immediately you can see there's a bit more going on here than in the original Joyville. However, it's the stuff they don't tell you that really scratches that theory itch. One of the first questions I always ask myself is, when does this take place? It might feel like a simple or even boring question, but it can tell us a lot about the universe we're in. And when it comes to Joyville, we might be a little further out than you might initially think. At first, I was focused on
time
this
travel.
old-school rotary telephone that you can find in a secret room, as these stopped being produced sometime in the late 1970s. But then you also have this cool DDR-looking machine in one of the employee offices, and DDR was first released in the late 90s. Is this another instance of old-school businesses developing technology that shouldn't have existed for several more decades? That's where I was leaning, until Tidy showed me this.
This is crazy. I've never seen anything like it before. I found this at the deepest part of the ocean, surrounded by all this debris.
No.
Tidy goes on to say that it's all very sci-fi, but once you really stop and look at what he's talking about, it's certainly not futuristic or fictional. That is a Logitech F710 wireless gamepad. The same controller that was used on the Titan submersible in 2023 by OceanGate. That's right, Tidy has collected the game controller from the wreckage of the OceanGate tragedy. OceanGate is canon in
So we got a caked up mascot that most definitely is be sent to the DeviantArt realm, and now we basically confirming that the OceanGate tragedy is now canon to this lore. Oh, just go. I could just process the whole video, but just go.
Joyville. They even have the little 3D printed sticks that OceanGate added to the stock controller. Man, it's been a while since an indie horror game left me completely speechless, but just wow. What's even crazier is that if we really are using time travel, this scene takes place in the past section of the story, supposedly set decades ago, which means the present is decades into the future, a future that we've not even seen yet. I guess that makes sense, considering, time travel doesn't exist yet, no matter how much we want to change the past. But if that's true, then we need to be focusing less on the
I would
when
also
of
want time travel as well.
on the why. If we can figure out why everything fell apart in the first place, maybe we can stop the prophecy from coming true. Although that's easier said than done, considering the game keeps throwing us into chase sequences. Hey, what was that? Was there writing on the wall? If this game really is a Poppy clone, then we know some juicy lore has to be sprinkled in there.
Oh yeah.
Zoom in.
Let's see it.
Enhance. Are you worried about your...
Oh, come on, man!
Really, I'm locked away in a tiny room under a bunk bed. It's pretty private. What about your internet privacy? I mean, yeah, I guess. It's a little concerned. Kinda went in expecting these to be your classic lore drops like the Hour of Joy, or even more generic warnings like Turn Back Now. However, what we got instead is just, well, it's just sort of mean. You're a joke to everyone.
Dang.
They'll never accept you. You're so gullible. Weakness is your only trait.
Dang.
These are very antagonistic and very targeted lines. And in Lumina's section, we seem to find out who they're targeted at.
Do you miss me, brother?
Brother? The only brother we know is, well, us. Are these being written by our sister? These lines are placed right in our face in the most intense part of the game. It would make sense for them to be aimed at us. Although you're not exactly giving me much incentive to save you, but...
Yeah, I mean, if that's true, then I don't know, man. I mean, yes, I'm trying to get you back, but you're making me want to take my sweet old time protecting you. I'm kidding, of course.
Maybe much like how time has slowly corrupted the once happy-go-lucky mascots, whatever evil befell this place has slowly corrupted our sister as well. The trouble is,
makes sense.
The writing is all different. The writing appears during each...
So what's it gonna be? It's Joyville gonna be our sisters, the main antagonists? I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that's kind of interesting. It's, I guess, but so she'll practically be an adult. Heck, maybe in her late 50s, maybe. Like, she'll be like a crazy old woman. Maybe she learned and how to control the factory.
Chase sequence with one of the mascots, but each time the writing uses a different font, implying that these mean messages aren't just from one person, but several, almost as if it's the mascots themselves writing them while trapped in their rooms. That brother line specifically comes from Lumina's chase scene, so maybe she is our sister turned into a monster? It's compelling, and it definitely fits with other games in the genre, but after going through every single message, two of them completely upend that idea. You can't hide from me, Harrison, and just give up, Harrison. That name isn't new to us either. No, it's not our character's name. It comes from one of the very, very few pieces of lore the original Joyville offered us. There's a newspaper you can find that tells you that Joyville was
so our
created
sister's
by a
not
highly respected entrepreneur and member of the community. That man's name was Harrison Vanderbilt. Could that mean that we are Harrison? Sadly, no, because Harrison created Joyville, and yet we are having flashbacks to playing in Joyville as a kid. Plus, according to the article, when all of the staff and kids vanished, Harrison was arrested. That was decades ago, but being responsible for dozens of missing kids and adults is the kind of thing that gets you multiple life sentences. Or worse. So we can't be Harrison, which means these vicious mockeries on the wall weren't meant for us, the player. They were likely written for Joyville's founder, Harrison. But if he's in prison,
what did he
why
do?
would whoever wrote these think that he'd see them? Oh, it just, every time I think I have something, it just doesn't seem to make sense. How am I supposed to write theories when... Not now, Steam, I'm bit...
So what? Did Harrison do something? I mean, let's be honest. What creator of enterprises hasn't been responsible for anything? William Afton? Oh, please, we've already been discussing him way too many times at this point that I can barely count it. Elliot Ludwig? I mean, I can't really say that he is bad because we still got one more chapter to deal with before the final, but I mean, like, every way to Sunday, it's looking like Elliot's innocent and he's just another victim. Who else? That one person from Andy's apple farm, he went off the deep end. Yeah, because summoning a demon and basically trapping everyone, your family and your friends being into the game, definitely screams like a good idea. Like, it wouldn't even hold me if Harrison is.
What? Oh, an update for Joyville 2? Okay, sure. Wonder what's so important it needs to happen now a few days after release. Patch 1.0.3, new content. Added 7 interactive radios to uncover more about the universe's lore. What? This is exactly what we need. Oh, Steve, I could kiss you. I won't. I learned that lesson from Monica. So
I won't. I ain't going for that. Oh, and you need to watch out too, because there's another. I think there was another one. What's the name of that new Doki Doki Literature Club game? No, it's not. It's not a sequel to Doki Doki. I mean, I don't think so. No, I don't think. Me Side? Yeah, Me Side is the one. That's the new game. Yeah. Yeah. I think Monica has some competition with that one. So, continue.
what do these radios have to say?
We invite you to delve into the story of Harrison Vanderbilt, the creator of Joyville, a man whose dream turned into a tragedy for many.
Oh,
yes.
This sounds like it's about to be the setup for a classic villain origin story. But the more you listen, the more tragic Harrison becomes.
Harrison's life began like many others, with people in his childhood whose actions left deep marks.
Oh,
All
no.
of these marks were born of love. Some were shadows that seeped into his soul.
As we listen, we learn that there were 3 such people who ended up having a negative impact on Harrison's life. First was his older sister, who used to use manipulation to control and belittle him.
Her attention wasn't born of affection, but of a cunning desire to exploit his mistakes and weaknesses.
And while his sister was extremely hostile, his mother was cold and distant.
Her care for her son never eclipsed her other interests. After his birth, she appeared indifferent, leaving Harrison with a sense of insignificance that followed him throughout his life.
The
Wow.
negative influence on Harrison's life goes unnamed in the recordings, but that doesn't make them any less important.
This individual, embodying discipline and harsh perfection, treated Harrison with a cold detachment. To him, Harrison was an object, something disposable.
Perhaps this was some sort of teacher or coach or mentor that was particularly
Or
harsh on
father.
Harrison for even
Let's
the
be honest.
smallest mistakes. And with horrible people like that in Harrison's life at a young age, you'd probably understand if he grew up to become a bitter, broken man incapable of love. But that clearly wasn't the case. According to these
God dang, I'm
recordings,
sorry,
it was
Harrison.
because of his rough childhood that he wanted to create Joyville in the first place.
That's
Years
nice.
later, Harrison's desire to create Joyville was driven by a yearning to provide children with what he lacked in his own youth.
Hey, that's
A
nice.
place where children could feel safe, where friendship and joy thrived.
The fact that Harrison was able to take that awful hand he was dealt with as a child and turn it into something that created so much joy so that no kid would ever feel the same way he did is frankly amazing. But of
Remarkable.
course, we know this story doesn't have a happy ending.
But creating such a world required more than imagination. It required Harrison to breathe life into his creations.
No, please don't betray
unknowingly
us.
infusing them with parts of himself, parts
What?
he didn't fully understand or perhaps feared.
Uh-oh, I've played enough indie horror games to know where this is
No,
going.
Harrison.
Joyville became more than just companions for children. They absorbed aspects of Harrison's memories, his emotions, his past. They carried within them fragments of Harrison's shadows, subtle habits, gestures, and glances, echoes of his own painful memories, manifested in the mascots.
The
No.
mascots quite literally became the evil people he thought he left behind in his childhood. We have a sister who is incredibly mean and manipulative, just like we see in the evil version of Lumina. Then there's Harrison's
Great.
mother, who is always obsessed with her own interests at the detriment of her son, just like Tidy's one-tracked love of the sea and going on adventures. And then there's the star, whose evil version was an overly critical perfectionist, just like the mysterious mentor who hurt Harrison. Those messages we find during the mascot chase sequences, like "you're a joke to everyone" and "weakness is your only trait," aren't just random insults. They are the sorts of things these people, these monsters, said to Harrison as a child. And now they're repeating.
Well, then we're gonna pack them up like we did what we do with Dr. Sawyer. What's good?
That remains inside Joyville, and I don't mean these three mascots. At the very end of chapter 2, after you defeated Lumina and all the other
Yeah.
mascots, there's a room that leads to the final door that takes you to the credits. Most people just walk right through, but if you stop and look at the wall,
This
you'll
is
find
the end.
one last wall scribbling, written in a completely different font than we've seen from the mascots. It says, "Hello, future me." Now, in a game with time travel mechanics, this made me reconsider the idea that we may be playing as Harrison. But then I noticed everything that was happening in the room
Yeah, like-
leading up to this.
like how
and
Henry was
admittedly, it
in
feels
Benny Enigma Machine,
really
right?
out of place. After the climactic final boss fight with Lumina, and after walking through a bunch of testing rooms where all the characters were created and studied, we have this very easy puzzle. All you do is mix some colorful liquids together based on a clearly visible recipe. But what caught my attention wasn't the puzzle, it was the colors of the goo we were mixing. We mix goo that is pink, purple, and green. The same three colors as the three main antagonists from this chapter.
Okay.
And for some reason, when you mix pink, purple, and green together, you get
Oh, come on.
one of these pink, purple, and green together, you get yellow. Now, I've watched enough of those satisfying color paint mixing TikToks to know that
Yeah.
that is not how that works. However, given these all seem to be linked to the mascots, there is one mascot we've not really talked about that would fit this yellow coloring. Woolly Bully, the
Oh,
mascot
yeah,
who
him.
chases us around in chapter 1 and who is suspiciously missing from chapter 2. By combining
he's
the
pretty much
essence of
left
these three
down-
mascots, you get this new
Achoo!
monster. And
Th-
who else
thank
is
you.
made up of the essence of these three monsters? Harrison Vanderbilt. His trauma was split amongst these three creatures. So by combining them back together, Harrison made a mascot that is essentially a mascot version of himself. Hello, future me. It makes me wonder if when we see Woolly Bully again, it may turn out that he isn't like the others we faced. He may look like just another monster, but in reality, he's like his creator. When you look at the experiments and what happened to to this place, it would be very easy to label Harrison as a villain. But really, he was a tragic hero.
Dang,
a man who wanted
Harrison.
to create a dream world for children to ensure that every child had a place of joy in their lives. But unfortunately, laying dormant in Harrison's soul was a darkness, a past that he ran away from and never fully addressed. It festered and attached itself to the mascots, his creations, ultimately hurting the people he sought to protect. And
Dang.
here we are, coming in and killing off the demons that haunted Harrison for so long. Maybe by teaming up with Wooly, we can not only save our sister, but also rid Joyville of the physical manifestations of trauma that destroyed it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess that would make more sense to be. I mean, well, we'll see, because Wooly Bully was basically coming after us. So unless you want to tell me that Wooly Bully's going to talk, which I don't think he did, I mean, well, I have to go and check it out myself. But since Wooly Bully was coming after us, I'm not sure he wants to talk. And after the events of Chapter 1, I don't think he really wants to talk to us. I think he wants to put us in this pack. But I'm still, I don't know. It's like I'm still with the whole sister thing. Like, is she really alive? Like, this game is told to us that this takes place at the end. So what? Are we going to change the past? Is this going to be like, okay, we're going to use our bunny time machine here. We're going to go back in time and change the past. Or you're going to say, well, we go back in time. Or is it going to end like bittersweet? Like, we save our sister, but we unfortunately perish in the end. I'm just saying, I just don't really see what else can we say here. Because I just don't think the sister's alive. Because, like, yeah, time machine's going to change all that. Maybe we can do something. But, like, still, though, it's like, I just don't buy it. That's kind of why the whole... I just got this gif because of, Poppy Playtime, because they say that the workers are alive, and, well, I mean, I guess technically they're alive. I mean, Dr. Sawyer's alive, somehow. I mean, yes, I know he converted himself into a robot, but I mean, like, he's technically still a co-worker, so I guess, but I mean, like, I don't know.
And I think that's a really good message for us to take away from this story. We all have our metaphorical demons in our pasts. Some big, some small. But we can't run away from them forever. Otherwise, they will fester and begin to not only hurt you, but everything and everyone around you. Joyville is what happens when those demons are left unchecked, turning the most noble of dreams into a living nightmare. But by working together with someone else, we can overcome our demons. Whether it's a close friend, a family member, or a licensed therapist. By talking through this stuff, it can immediately have less of a hold on you and those around you. I started doing that a few years ago, and without it, I literally wouldn't be here talking to you today. And theorists would probably be full of these weird, creepy mascots that are just mean and horrible for no reason. Maybe I should give my therapist a call, but heck.
Wow, okay. Beefing with Santi again. Santi, you need to get your get back. You can't let this happen. You can't let this slide. This man keep getting away with this. What is up? Someone needs to make a playlist of Tom and Santi's, like, rivalry, because this is crazy. Every time I look at a new game theory, there's always got to be a stray out there. God. God dang. Anyways, that's going to be the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like the video so I know you guys enjoy. Comment down below what you guys think. Do you think Joyville is, did you think Joyville beat the Poppy Playtime copy allegations, or you think it's still a Poppy Playtime clone? I mean, you can't beat time traveling. I mean, I never seen time traveling ever in Poppy Playtime, unless Chapter 4 is going to show us the time travel hand. And, well... We'll see. I mean, like, I'm going to give Joyville a chance. We're going to see what more we'll be seeing. And, hopefully we'll probably see what's good in Joyville 3. And subscribe! We're trying to upload daily. This is Juan Gamer 54 signing off.